Hello, hello. Scatters in chat as we speak. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Thursday stream. How are y'all doing? We've got a chill one ahead of ourselves today, I think. We're going to talk some TCG. We're going to play some Master Duel. And it's going to be a good time. All right, I'm seeing the scatters being chain blocked as per usual. Appreciate that. What is up, everybody? Let us warm up and then talk about everything. How are you, Judge? I'm doing good. I have the slight suspicion that I am getting sick, but at the moment I'm still doing okay. But it's like it's creeping up a little bit. I can feel it potentially happening, but not yet. Don't get sick. Okay, yeah, just don't do it. Can't sleep, ruined my sleep cycle, but at least I can watch the stream. Hey, we've all been there. We've all been there. You can fix it. All right, let's begin with some card guessing activity. And then we might also play one or the other higher or lower game. That gives me BA vibes. Is that a BA? That is a BA. That's the Malakota, I think. Yeah. right. Thank you for the 17. Yes, too early. But I still appreciate it. I think that's an ice barrier card, but I don't know which one. Don't know what it's called. Reese. Chimeritic Fortress. Newzep, thank you for the 10 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back. Satellar Knight. Deltaros. Good talk. Inexperienced spy? No. Espionage? That one. Oh, it's my favorite kind of card. But I don't know. Onu. I don't know what it's called. I think it's my. Is it my my background in Master Duel? No, it's not. It's not that one. Onikuji. Yeah, we were. I was kind of on that, but I didn't know what it was exactly called. Those are tough. That's a Dark Lord card, I think. Dark Lord Contact. Yeah. I have seen this card. That's a Magic Key card. Here's Glasser. Nope. Does not ring a bell. DMZ Dragon. Okay. This one, on the other hand, I do feel like I've seen before. But I can't name it. Litmus Doom. Oh, is it Litmus Doom Swordsman? Yeah. I have seen that before. Oh. That feels familiar. Oh, is it Zeta? Okay, it's Zeta. Played that like 2 days ago. Hello? Law of Hermos? No. Laws. Law. I'm wasting too much time on something that's gonna give me like 5 points. I'm skipping it. Dragon nails. It's not even claws. Good thing I skipped. Ooh, Phantom Beast, Wild Horn or something? Wild Horn. Yeah. Warrior Elimination. Odd Eyes. Oh god, I played this guy. I know I've played Revolution Dragon. No? Odd Eyes. Mirage Dragon. Yeah. Not Revolution. That feels like a UA card. That's gotta be a UA, right? Blockbacker. Okay, that is Plasma. No. You dare hit me with a Blackwing card? That's a Blackwing card, but it's a trap, I think. Like Squall something? No, Twin Shadow. Don't think it's Sparkman, but I'm gonna try anyways. Oh, it is. Okay, nice. I thought it was a spell trap that had Sparkman on it, but thank God. Earthbound Immortal. Yes. Earthbound Immortal. Apu. Yeah. Miracle Egg? No, Miracle Jurassic Egg. Yes. Which one is that? Agent is it Jupiter? No. Miracles. It is Jupiter. Oh yeah. Is it Torque Tune Gear? No. Paradox Gear. I knew it was a gear. Not that hard to tell, to be honest. Spoofing? This is, it might be, is that pre-prep? No. Urgent? Ritual art? Oh, Kraken. It's not rescue dog, is it? No, that's not a thing. Oh, that's something. This one. No. Canine Tower. Oh, almost. Almost. This is something fairy light, elf light, elf's light, elf's light, not fairy light. The equip spell. Not Kotetsu. Gamiel, yeah. It's not Smith, it's Craftsman. Okay. That is gimmick puppet vibes, isn't it? Oh yeah, that's a gimmick puppet. Shadow feeler. That's an ignite. I don't know which one though. I just gotta guess. Okay, nice. Something Sea Dragons of Draconia. Dragoons of Draconia. Yeah. What is that? Oh, is that the dual avatar spell? I think we played this one. It's been a while though. I played this in the gimmick deck to do the Inferno Tempest deck out thingy in Master Duel. Oh, that is the band card. Zexel. Punk. I think Deer Note. Is it not Deer Note? Madame Spider. Could be Madame Spider. Okay, it's neither. Oh, it's Foxy Tune. I do not know this card. Cliffhanger. Okay. This is what is this? Loki. Oh, it is. Okay. No. That prophecy? Empress of Prophecy? It is prophecy. Not desert tapir, is it? Explosum? Is it Explosum? Yeah, it is. That's funny. That's the spell. That's a speedroid, isn't it? Speed recovery. Yeah. Amazon is spiritualism. No. Shamanism? Ah, yeah. Don't know what that's called. Oh no, it's Clara and Rushka. Of course, yeah. Clara and Rushka. Homunculus. The alchemic being. This is... What is this? Cubic? Cubic Garuda. That doesn't exist. I'll skip it. It's not a good round. Garudia, the cubic beast. Okay. Wait, we had this yesterday. Tribute burial in the draft. I drafted it. Yeah. Draft coming in clutch. Not a Gem Knight again. Gem Knight. Is that just Garnet? Oh, it is Garnet. Okay, nice. I thought Garnet was yellow for some reason. Blue Thunder. Chain summoning. Yep. The wrong worm. That was almost, we almost saved it to 700, but all right. Today was a little washed. Today was a little washed, but not like terribly washed. All right, just a little, just a healthy amount, you know. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you can't not be washed every single day of the week, you know. We're looking for a dark monster. Let me try because it's got lower defense and is a newer card. Let's try Decode Talker. It's not a link monster. It's a level 3 dark monster with a level 3 dark monster from 2018 or newer, and it's got between 1500 and 2300 attack, and it's got a little bit of defense. It could be Havness. We could try Havness. All right, it's Havness. Easy clap. Easy clap. All right, that leaves us with enough time to do some higher or lower. Also, Akiza, thank you for the 14 months. Appreciate that. Some, yes, some, just like a healthy amount, you know, like just play a little bit, just a little, you know. Junk Sleep, Galaxy Worm earlier, Easy Clap, Raijin, that's old. Orbital 7 is not as old. Omega is probably older than that. That is not that old. Unpossessed. Shit. See, that doesn't count, for example, right? That doesn't. Oh, Grass Clown's old. Let me cook, okay? Oh god, when did Valkyries come out? I think later? Yeah. Okay, that's like 2002. Old. Oh my god, wait. Heart of Sanctity, Royal Surrender. Isn't Royal Surrender? That's almost the same year, dude. I think it's slightly later. Yeah. Pop, pop, pop. $2013. Oh god, I don't. I think Gem Knights are older, are newer than that. Oh man. Okay. Up. 2010. Gozen match. Gozen match is old, right? What was the set that Gozen match came out in? I know it's earlier than 2010. I'm just thinking like which set that was. What's the original Gozen match set? Crossroads of Chaos? Okay. Dynamondo is later than that. That is very, very early. Yeah. Legacy support. It's 2013. No, man. Just by a year, man. Who knows when Chronomalies came out? Ojama Yellow. What are these cards, man? 2008. We'll get a good run. We'll get a good run at some point. Calm down, calm down. Slightly after. It's time to stop. No! Oh, that's not fair. After, yeah. This is the run. This is the run. What? Nah, Baphomet 2010? No. That's mean. That card's older than that. That card is way older than that. They imported it late? Nah, that's not fair. That does not count. That does not count. Okay. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. That didn't happen. Man. We will get to 100 at some point. We would have, look, if we didn't get scammed on the Baphomet, we would have definitely gotten 100 points there, right? We can all agree on that, yeah? We can all agree that if we didn't answer wrong, we would have gotten more points, right? Surely that's something we can agree on. Yarek, thank you for the 15 months. My streamer washed. Wait, who's your streamer? I don't get it. Who are you referring to? Anyways, move on. Okay, so today we have a couple of things that we're gonna do. And it's going to be a chill one. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming TCG format a little bit. We're going to update the tier list for the new Supreme Darkness stuff. And then we're going to hop into Master Duel and play some of the new Theme Chronicles. And if we have enough time, we will also start or continue our ladder grind with a deck that my patrons have voted for, which is Dragons. It's going to be fun. So why don't we just hop right in? I think we're going to start with just the TCG talk, and then we're going to hop into the Master Duel event right after. Sounds like a good plan, I think. All right. So let me get this set up real quick. I'll just record the intro off stream so I don't have to worry about it on stream. So what we're gonna do is I have purposely Xane, thank you for the 2 months, and I'm glad you've gotten your stuff. Yeah, but that's been shipped. All the giveaway things. It took us a couple of weeks to collect all the addresses and stuff like that, but it's all gone. I went to the post office with like 20 something packages, and the dude was not very happy when I walked through the door, but it's all been shipped and everything. So you should hopefully receive your things soon. Yes. For this tier list, what I've done is I've actually removed a bunch of decks from it because I wanted to mainly focus on the new stuff from Supreme Darkness and how it's going to slot into our existing format. So I've cut some of the like more rogue-ish, tier 2-ish things that have already existed just to like, basically the idea for this video is I want to put a brief introduction as to where I think the current meta decks still stand after Supreme Darkness, and then in relation to that, or in context of that, I want to put the new decks into this tier list. Just gives me a good visual way to talk about these things one by one. So I have narrowed it down to like a couple of decks. I think it's still like 10 decks or something that we're going to talk about from previously, but I want to put a bigger focus on the new stuff, right? So just to create some context for the new stuff, we're going to talk about some of the more popular decks right now, and then move on to the new things. So the obvious things that are going to change moving forward, like Supreme Darkness is more of it feels more like an add-on to the existing format. It's not a set that's going to flip the format upside down and enter a whole bunch of new high-tier decks. It feels like it adds a couple of things to some existing decks and some legacy support to some others, and that's going to shake up the metagame just a little bit, but it's not going to be turning it up. It's not going to flip everything on its head. Yeah, it's like a DLC. It's crossover breaker format DLC with Supreme Darkness. But yeah, some existing decks I want to go over with, and also I have after some feedback for the last tier list, I have changed some of these categories to give a little bit of a better idea of what I expect from these decks, what I expect these decks to do. We're going to put decks into categories of very strong choices. So these are the obviously like best decks of the format. We've got good choices, which are still very, very solid and can definitely top or win tournaments. We've got viable options, which are just all right, good, solid decks that you can play if you want to and do well with if you have a solid day. Uphill battle are the decks that are like, you are putting yourself at a slight disadvantage if you pick those decks over the ones up here. You could if you really wanted to. And then there's going to be a category for decks that I just wouldn't recommend playing if you're trying to have competitive success. So yeah, we're going to have, just for context, I think that something like Ritual Beast with and this is going to be a card that is going to be relevant for some decks today. Molcharmy Meowls, or whatever it's called in the TCG, is going to be a threat to some of these decks. The question is, how popular is that card going to be moving forward? I think Ritual Beast is going to be basically the bottom of the barrel for me for the viable category. I do think the Ritual Beast deck is good. I think it's a powerful deck that could top if someone like plays it really well. I don't think it's optimal, but I do think it's viable. Because you do have major issues with Molcharmy Purulia, Huvalos, and Meowls now. So like, no matter what Molcharmy your opponent decides to put in your deck and throw at you, you're gonna have problems. You do have some issues with Nibiru as well, which is a popular card as of now. And I do think it's going to remain a popular card after the new set. So I do think it's like, this is like the baseline bottom of viable option. Centurion, same thing. I don't think Centurion does anything particularly well, but I also don't think it's particularly bad at anything. It's a deck that like can perform, but it's not, I wouldn't call it a good choice. but I don't think it's bad either. It's just like right down in the middle. You know, you've got like solid immunity to Molcharmies. You've got solid. You don't care that much about your opponent's Bystials. It's just solid, viable option, I think, for Centurion. We've got Memento, which I think is a little underrated right now. Although the Malice matchup going second, I think, is tough for this deck because you're not really like Memento is, I think, typically a more board breaker option than deck than really a solid hand trap deck. That doesn't seem like Memento's kind of thing. It is okay into cards like Molcharmies. It's not great into cards like Shifter, which the Malice deck can play. I think Memento remains a viable option in Supreme Darkness format, though it is a pretty good deck in the OCG right now as well. So maybe I'm even underestimating it or underselling it with this. It could even be a good choice if you're a skilled pilot with this deck. It's probably even in good. I do think it's a solid choice. So it's somewhere between this and this. Now we're getting into the bread and butter of the format real quick. Fiendsmith, in no matter which shape or form, the Fiendsmith cards are going to be a very strong option. Whether that is Fiendsmith cards in Malice, Fiendsmith cards in Ryziel, Fiendsmith cards in Tenpai even is something that people are doing. Fiendsmith, the engine is, I mean, the pure deck is not really seeing as much representation right now, which is fair enough because people are playing a lot of Bystials. And if you play a mono Fiendsmith deck, you're going to struggle a lot into the Bystials. I mean, Bystials are already good against something like Fiendsmith Ryziel. But the reason why the Ryziel cards are good with the Fiendsmith cards as well is because you have extra pushes so that one or two Bystials don't completely take you out of the game. The Fiendsmith engine, though, I think is format defining, and it will stay that way after Supreme Darkness. So that is, like, anything Fiendsmith related is going to be a very good choice. And I think a major deal in this upcoming format is which decks can play the Fiendsmith cards the best and also outgrind other, like, the Fiendsmith grind games and win those. That being said, Tenpai, I'm very split on because there's basically two ways to play Tenpai now, which is, number one, you can still play Tenpai in the old-fashioned way where you just like blind second and play a pure Tenpai deck basically and just blind second with board breakers or hand traps, whatever, or both. That deck I don't think is that good right now. The way I'm experiencing it is that that deck is not having a whole lot of success. The deck that I do see being played and do see some success from is the Tenpai Fiendsmith variant that actually a lot of people are going first with that deck, and they just play like, it's basically pure Fiendsmith, but because pure Fiendsmith doesn't really play a normal summon if you don't play 3 Lacrimas, they are playing a Tenpai and Bystial package for like a normal summon that makes seals and some grind game with Bystials, and just overall, like, it seems to be a very grindy Fiendsmith variant that adds a normal summon to the deck. Which I think is a good deck. I think that's a good choice moving forward. Pure Tenpai, I'm not a big fan of. I really am not a big fan of pure Tenpai. Chimera, I'm just including some of these because I didn't want to just like exclude everything from the previous format and just show you like Malice and Ryziel. Chimera, I think, is still a viable option. I am just like, I'm not actually, there's two decks here in Chimera and Yubel where on the one hand, I haven't played them myself in a while. But on the other hand, I also don't really understand exactly why these decks are not being played just a little bit more. I do think both of these decks, if they go first, like from my perspective, for example, I don't think the Yubel deck is much worse than the Malice deck. In the things that it does, right? Like if Yubel goes first, it wins the game. If Yubel goes second, it struggles. The same is true for Malice. I guess Malice gets to play Shifter if you want to. But I don't know like exactly why I'm not seeing anyone playing Yubel. I'm not mad at it. Don't get me wrong. Please don't play Yubel. I hate playing against Yubel. But I do think the Yubel deck is better than like the current format suggests. So I think there's a chance that the Yubel deck can get like a comeback. The Chimera deck, I've always felt the same way about Chimera that I felt about Memento, where like incredibly strong decks, but somehow no one is really. I mean, no one is not true, but not a lot of people are representing with those decks. The Chimera deck could very well also be a good deck. There is some support in Supreme Darkness for it. It's just that like I haven't personally played with it in this current format, so I can't really tell you. But I can imagine that the Chimera deck could beat a Ryziel board. Like the Chimera deck has very, very strong pushes. So I wouldn't underestimate Memento, Chimera, and Duel. This is where I'm putting them is the bare minimum. They are at minimum viable options. They could even become better than that post Supreme Darkness, depending on what decks are viable and how they fare into those particular decks. So that's why I'm saying like these three are more like definitely the upper end of viable options, and these two are the lower end of viable options. With these two, it might be closer to an uphill battle. You might be right on that. Labyrinth, I think, is solid. I think in relation to, you know what, just to get a little bit better perspective on these, let's do it like this. Let's do it like this, because I think this is a better representation of what I've been saying. Because uphill battle does not mean these decks are bad. These decks are solid decks, but they are just not. I mean, they're viable, but they are not. There's definitely a difference between these four and these two. Maybe I should name these differently. In my head, it made sense. I'm hoping in combination with what I'm saying, it makes sense to you guys. But I think I should name these differently moving forward. It's more like very strong, very good, and then viable / uphill battle. Is probably a better way to phrase it. Anyways, before that, this is the last two things we need to talk about before we move into the new stuff. Of course, we've got Malice and we've got Ryziel. For both of these decks, I think, interestingly enough, even though they get barely any new cards, the situation does change for both of them, and it's still worth talking about. Even though they both are still obviously very good decks and probably the top two dogs of the new format, I think it is worth talking about what changes for both of these decks. For Malice, it gets no new cards really. I mean, you could theoretically play the new Format Skipper Retrain. I've seen some people do it in the OCG, but I don't think it's a huge difference for the deck. The deck doesn't really get anything new. My personal opinion on Malice is that it is a notch under the Ryziel deck. Personally, I think there's a lot of things about the Malice deck that like would make me rather play Ryziel from a competitive perspective. Because the Malice deck, it does suffer from Lancea, which is a big issue. It also suffers from the new Molcharmy. If people play that, I will say take that one with a grain of salt, because I don't know exactly how popular the new Molcharmy is going to be. I personally am considering it as a side deck option, but I'm not sure how many people will actually go the length of playing Huvelos, Lancea, and Meowls for the Malice matchup. But I could see some people doing it. Because Malice is, once again, a top 2 threat in this format, probably, behind Ryziel. And the new Molcharmy is a good card against it. And you can even randomly, like, the new Molcharmy can randomly hit some other matchups, like Ritual Beast. And then it's just going to be a nice inclusion in your side deck. But overall, it's not a guarantee that people are going to play it. But some people will, for sure. It's a viable option, and that's a little bit of a problem for Malice, because you can still combo under the new Molcharmy, but it does get significantly less broken if you get hit with it on your first Malice card, especially because it's like if you're thinking Molcharmy against Malice, it's like if they start with Dormouse, they can probably play with 1 summon from Banished, or maybe 2. But if they start with the field spell or with the White Rabbit, it's significantly harder to play under the new Molcharmy with with Malice. Like at the very minimum, I think you're going to give your opponent 2 cards every time. But if you're unlucky, you got to give him like 3, which at that point, you know, and you're ending on a much weaker end board. So I do think the new Molcharmy is very good against Malice, and people are going to play it for that reason, which makes me put Malice not in the highest category. I think the highest category in this upcoming format is reserved a little bit for Ryziel for now. So speaking of Ryziel, Fiendsmith Ryziel is still going to be the deck to beat, is my personal prediction for Supreme Darkness format. The thing that changes for Ryziel is Eclipse Twins. And Eclipse Twins is a card that has the effect of, when it hits the graveyard, it's an Exceed monster, a rank 4, that you're almost never going to summon. You're almost never going to summon Eclipse Twins in Ryziel. You can theoretically, and it's not terrible, but it doesn't really happen often. You are going to send it for X Ryziel, and it says if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 2 other Exceeds in your grave, summon one of them, and attach the other one to it as material. The reason why that's huge for Ryziel is because what you're going to do is you're going to attach it to Detonator instead of Mereologic Aggregator. And the reason why that's so powerful is because it makes your aggregator so much harder to out. Not your aggregator, your Detonator. For example, I think there's only one thing that needs to be said to show how powerful that is the interaction with Triple Tactics Talents. If you're ending on a Detonator and your opponent activates Talents to take it, what used to happen in this current format is your opponent changes Detonator and pops itself so that you don't get it. And then it goes to the graveyard and you've outed the Detonator with Talents. And if they had any other monsters, you even get to take those, making the Detonator pop itself a little bit weaker. But with Eclipse Twins, what's going to happen is, because the Detonator and the Eclipse Twins are going to hit the graveyard at the same time in that instance, Eclipse Twins can bring the Detonator back and attach the Duo Drive to it as material, and then the Detonator gets to attach another card because that effect is on Special Summon. So you're basically getting a 2 material Detonator back if your opponent tries to out it. The thing is that makes the pure Ryziel end board a lot stronger, because all of a sudden your deck is not just gonna like fold to 1 board breaker anymore. The problem is that this whole interaction, this whole Eclipse Twins card, it benefits pure Ryziel a lot more than Fiendsmith Ryziel for a lot of different reasons. So the first reason is Fiendsmith Ryziel, the way it's currently being played, often doesn't even go for the Duo Drive anymore. Some people, for example, my recent regional list, doesn't even play Duo Drive anymore. But the problem is, if you don't go through Duo Drive, you cannot use the Eclipse Twins, because you need 2 other rank 4s in your graveyard to be able to revive one and attach the other. Because the Eclipse Twin cannot attach itself. It's got to be 2 other Exceeds. So if you're not going through Duo Drive, you can't really set up the Eclipse Twins in that fashion. The thing with that is that you're going for Duo Drive has disadvantages. That's why people are if you go and make Duo Drive, you make yourself a little weaker to certain hand traps, and also extra deck space is a big issue for Fiendsmith Ryziel. If you're gonna have to put back in the Duo Drive and the Eclipse Twins, you're gonna suffer from losing other options. At that point, you're probably forced to not play the second Requiem anymore, which makes your Fiendsmith engine a lot more vulnerable to something like Abystial. So it's not a strict positive for Fiendsmith Ryziel to get the Eclipse Twin access to the deck, right? People are still going to play that. It's going to be a good version. Fiendsmith Ryziel with Eclipse Twin and Duo Drive is going to be a top tier deck, but in my opinion, the Eclipse Twins is a major buff, or a much stronger buff to like pure Ryziel variants than it is to Fiendsmith Ryziel. Because if I'm looking at pure Ryziel right now, almost no one is playing that. Almost no one is playing pure Ryziel, because everyone is just favoring the Fiendsmith variant because it's got like stronger grind game, and its end board. It's just like, it feels like the Fiendsmith cards solve some problems for Ryziel that the deck had before Supreme Darkness. For example, you get more pushes, a slightly stronger end board because you add a Caesar to it, and you get some grind game because you're gonna have Fiendsmith for follow-up. With Ryziel, pure Ryziel now, Eclipse Twins gives you some of those things. You do get access to a stronger end board because your detonator is harder to out, making it a stronger end board overall. You also get follow-up because the Eclipse Twins is crazy follow-up for a pure Ryziel deck that has room for multiples of it in the extra deck, because the pure Ryziel deck often plays 2 copies of Eclipse Twins, because another thing you can do is on turn 2, if you've used the first Eclipse Twin on turn 1, you can send an Eclipse Twin for X Ryziel and also get its effect and bring back a detonator at the start of your second turn. So like, I think Eclipse Twins, instead of just making Fiendsmith Ryziel incredibly broken and so much more powerful than everything else, I think it has a different effect. I think it has the effect of giving you some extra reasons to actually play pure Ryziel over Fiendsmith Ryziel. Which in some ways is just going to lead to people still playing Ryziel. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Ryziel is going to be the best deck and the most played deck in the upcoming format. But it does offer some variety in the sense that you're not playing... I don't think you're going to be playing against exclusively Fiendsmith Ryziel only. I do think the pure Ryziel deck gets a lot more footing from the Eclipse Twins. That being said, that's the environment that these new decks are joining us, that we're now going to talk about. Now, this is not every single archetype that's getting support in Supreme Darkness, but I think it's the more notable ones and the most the most requested ones in recent comments. I feel like people have been asking me about these the most, but there's obviously more than that. So we can continue the conversation in the comments about other things that I haven't mentioned, but I think this is the ones that I felt like were the most noteworthy. So, in this environment of Fiendsmith Ryziel, Tenpai Fiendsmith, and Malice, and some of these other viable options, how do these new decks fare? White Forest and Azamina in one thing. That's why I picked the Azamina LZ. That's also a White Forest card. It's both. The support for Azamina and White Forest is good in Supreme Darkness. They are receiving good and strong support. However, I think that it's not quite enough for me to consider it a top tier deck. I think for that, it needs the last wave in Alliance Insight. Like, maybe it's just me being like spoiled, quote unquote, because I already know the cards that they get in Alliance Insight. So I'm like, it just feels a little worse in comparison to what I know it's going to be. I don't think the new support is bad. I do think it could catapult like Azamina, White Forest into like a viable strategy already post Supreme Darkness for sure. I don't see much reason to play that deck over something like Ryziel at the moment from a competitive perspective. Of course, if you just enjoy it more, that's a good reason to play it. But I don't think it's bad by any means. I do think post Alliance Insight it gets a significant buff, and we're probably looking at a top meta threat post Alliance Insight. Post Supreme Darkness though is a little bit of a different story. Argo Stars. I included Argo Stars because I think it's a very fun concept. That deck seems very fun. If you don't know Argo Stars, it's a deck that focuses around continuous traps that like summon themselves out of the spell trap zone, and then you can return them to the spell trap zone by doing some stuff. It's a very cool concept that like bounces continuous traps from monsters to spell trap zone, and has like a very controlly and grindy aspect to it, which is some stuff that I really enjoyed the idea of that sort of deck being a good Yu-Gi-Oh deck. However, from the first wave of support, I do not think it's a working concept yet. They definitely need very strong support to make such a concept work. Basically, Reverse Centurion. You know what? I've never looked at it from that perspective, but you're not entirely wrong. That's not a terrible explanation. Yeah, it's kind of like Reverse Centurion, because the cards start as trap cards and then become monsters. So yeah, as of now, I don't think it's going to be a competitively viable deck. You can definitely mess around with it at locals and maybe do okay with it, but from a competitive perspective, I wouldn't recommend the Argo Stars yet, unfortunately. Next up, we've got Crystron. I've seen a surprising amount of hype around Crystron. People have been trying this deck. Like people that I actually think are very very good players have been messing around with Crystron and telling me, hey, that's a viable deck for the upcoming format. It's apparently better than I thought. I haven't personally messed around with it too much. I've looked into some combos. It looks strong. I haven't looked into it to the point of evaluating its like qualities of being able to play around something like Nibiru, or how well does it play into hand traps in general, how good does it break boards going second. But it feels like a deck that actually has some solid combo lines to it. And it does have, it does have some showings in the OCG. So I do think at the very minimum, the new Crystron deck is going to be a viable option. There's a very realistic chance it ends up being a good option. I'm going to throw it in the top of viable simply because I don't feel comfortable telling you that for sure it's going to be good, because I haven't played it enough for my own liking, or like for my own, so to be confident in saying like, yeah, that's a good option. But it does look promising. It does look very promising. And depending on how hyped it's going to be, you are right, it could also be a solid budget option, because from what I know, I don't think it uses any of like Fiendsmith or anything like that. So should be all right. Next up, we've got Evil Heroes. Now, the Evil Hero support is interesting in some ways and disappointing in other ways, at least from what I've seen and what I interpret into it. I do think that heroes are not a terrible deck, and the new Evil Hero support is also not bad. However, I think the problem with the new hero support is that it just, while they are good cards, it doesn't solve any of the existing problems for like the hero decks that is stopping those decks from performing at a competitive level. For example, like the inherent weakness of that deck to Nibiru and stuff like that. To my knowledge, the Evil Hero cards don't really offer any help in that regard. And it also, like, it just feels like the new hero cards, the Evil Hero cards, just offer you a bunch of alternative ways to reach a certain end board, or like new end board pieces and stuff like that. That is not really what heroes need. I feel like heroes already has a plethora of really, really powerful end board pieces. Like you look at Dark Law, you look at Plasma, you look at even DPE. All those cards, the hero deck doesn't have a problem finding different options for its end board. It needs more consistent ways to play it to get there, and more ways to like play through hand traps, and more ways to play going second. None of that really is offered by the new Evil Hero support. So I don't think it's going to make the hero deck any better than what it is right now, but it also obviously doesn't make it worse, right? Like it's just like an alternative way to play the deck at a very similar power level, I feel like. Well, that's a surprise. That hasn't happened in a while. Make it cheaper. Oh, you know what happened. You know what happened last time we made it cheaper? Banger. All right, good talk. Where was I? Yes, heroes. Next up is honestly the thing that I am. That's why it's not cheaper. That is exactly why it's not cheaper. All right. May I continue now? Yeah, that's why it can't be cheaper. That's why it cannot be cheaper. The only thing that could potentially happen is we could bring back the thing where... You know what? You know what the problem is? The problem, I feel like, is that making it more expensive does not prevent this from happening. It just makes it so that it happens less often. Because it apparently still happens. Yeah, it's a consistency hit. It's a consistency hit. It doesn't stop it from happening. It just happens less consistently. Man. No. Add cooldown. Okay, let me see. There is a count. There is a cooldown. I mean, a minute. It's not. It's not. Okay. We'll do. We'll do what? 10 minutes. Saved. All right. I'm not. How do you reach the conclusion that we should make it cheaper right now? The thing is, maybe we can bring back the good old sub goal eventually, where we would just play it whenever we would hit a sub goal. Those were the times. Those were the days. Those were good times. Kurtle Ansford. Ankford, thank you for the 10 months. And Weierstraß, thank you for the 11. Appreciate all of you guys. Thank you. Yes, please. Why did you stop that anyway? I just the reason I stopped doing a sub goal was just I wanted to put less emphasis on asking for subs. Essentially, I wanted people to subscribe because they want to support the content. Essentially, that's what I wanted it to be. Not because they wanted to like hear a remix or something like that. But I mean, I don't really mind either way. If you guys want it, we can bring it back. Where would you rank carrot salad in your favorite things in the world? No, it's not on that tier list. It's not on that list. I don't like it very much. There are certain vegetables. I don't know if that's just me, but like, you know how you can eat certain vegetables just like raw or cooked? I think there are some of them that I really like cooked, but I don't like them raw. And carrot is one of those. Carrot is one of the things that I really like cooked, but not raw. I do like carrots when they're cooked. Like, I like them a lot, but I don't like them raw. And then there's some where it's the other way around. Like cucumber. Cucumber is sick raw, but not cooked. And what? That's not the tier list we're doing anyway. Okay, how did we get here? Soggy Sow, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. Zen Mighty, thank you for the 31 months. And Patrick, thank you for the 12. Appreciate you guys. Food tier list when? Normale Kartoffel auf die 1. Anyways, can we move on? Where was I even? Crystron isn't really budget because the old cards got so expensive. That's unfortunate, yeah, but I could see that being the case. All right, moving on. We've got the deck that I actually am the most hyped for, I think, out of Supreme Darkness for now. And it's not really its own deck at the moment, but it's more like a little bit of a sub-engine, and that's Primite. I think Primite is a very, very promising engine, and it receives a very powerful card in Primite Ether Beryl Dragon, which I want to bring this up. Hold up. Primite Ether Beryl Dragon, or whatever it's called. Beryl Ether. Yep. Because this is worth mentioning, because this card actually got a secret buff, which is not what we anticipated this card to work like. However, this card reads, if this card's normal summoned, you can set a Primite spell trap from your deck. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. Tribute this card, send a normal monster from your deck to the graveyard. During the standby phase, if you have a normal monster in your field or graveyard, you can add this card from the graveyard to the hand. Now, the way this card originally was translated from the OCG was that it only added itself back during your standby phase. The reason why that makes a big difference is because you can add this card back from the graveyard immediately after you've played with it on turn 1 during your opponent's standby phase, giving you an extra card in hand for certain interactions, whatever. Like if you have a Forbidden Droplet in your deck, you have an extra send. If you have any card that requires a discard, you have a free discard. If you have Primite Drill Beam, which is a very powerful Primite card over here, that says that requires you to reveal a Primite card in order to use it. Now you have a guaranteed way to get a Primite card into your hand in order to activate Primite Drill Beam, which is negate a card on the field and banish it, a face-up card, which is a really powerful quick play spell if you have a Primite card in your hand, which previously you couldn't really guarantee that. Unless you went out of your way to add another Primite card from your deck to your hand. If you would go for any Primite combos, you wouldn't have a Primite card at the end of your turn. So now, with the Primite Beryl Dragon adding itself back to your hand during your opponent's standby phase immediately, you have a card to reveal for Drill Beam, and that makes this card a lot better. All those things being said, the reason why I'm looking forward to Primite is because Primite doesn't even need this sort of buff to be a relevant engine. People have already been playing Primite in both OCG and TCG. In the OCG currently, the Primite engine is part of one of the most represented decks in the game, which is Primite Blue Eyes, which is a deck that we won't have right off the bat. But even in other aspects, the Primite cards have seen play. People have been messing around in the TCG with something like Primite Fiendsmith, where you bring out White Dust on with the Primites because you can summon any vanilla in the game. I think the Primite engine is very strong. I'm predicting that there's going to be ways to use the Primite engine, whether that is waiting for Primite Blue Eyes or putting it into other decks, Primite Fiendsmith, whatever. I think Primite Fiendsmith sounds like a deck that has a lot of potential. Whether that's better than Ryzeal or Malice remains to be seen, but I do attest a lot of potential to the Primite engine. I think it's going to be very strong. At the very minimum, with the Blue Eye structure deck, we're going to look at a top tier meta threat, in my opinion. But even before that, I think there is ways to use the Primite cards to great extent. I think they are very, very good, very grindy engines. That just pairs very well with something like Fiendsmith. I could see Primite Fiendsmith being a deck. I could see that being a deck. I don't know if it's better than Fiendsmith Ryzeal, but I think it's going to be viable. Next up, we've got Mitsurugi, an archetype that I have sworn to never cope on TCG exclusives ever again. Eclipse, thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. Hope you had a good stream. I will never cope on TCG exclusive archetypes ever again. However, in the case of Mitsurugi, I don't even have to cope on it because other people are doing it for me. I'm not here to tell you that I think Mitsurugi is going to be crazy because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. However, I'm hearing from all other, like, for everyone else is just screaming at me that, like, Ryziel Mitsurugi is apparently a thing because, like, Ryziel is, like, able to make a rank 4, which makes King of the Feral Imp, which searches all the Mitsurugi cards because they're reptiles. And, like, the ritual spell, admittedly, does have a pretty broken concept where all you have to do is you have to either have the ritual in hand and then you contribute to things from your deck for cost, or you have to have the cost in hand and then you can ritual summon from your deck. So it's a pretty neat concept. And apparently the best way to play it is Ryziel Mitsurugi because of that rank 4 synergy and King of the Feral Imps and stuff like that. However, I have my doubts that that's going to be better than the other meta decks in the format right now. It's probably a viable, that's where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it into a viable option because I've looked into it before this stream. I've looked at some of the deck lists that people have posted online. I've looked at some of the things that the deck does. It's good. It's a good concept. However, I personally am not convinced that it's a better deck than just playing Ryziel Fiendsmith. Like, it's definitely not bad, and if you want to play it, you can. Which is good. It's a good thing for a TCG exclusive archetype because, like, there is a way to play it right off the bat. It's not like one of those decks where you're gonna have to desperately wait for the second wave and then get disappointed by it and so on and so forth. This is already a very above average result for a TCG exclusive archetype, that there is a viable way to play it right off the bat. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good thing for Mitsurugi, honestly. However, I don't personally believe that it's going to end up being the better choice between, like, Ryziel Fiendsmith and Ryziel Mitsurugi. I'm sure Ryziel Mitsurugi is playable. I'm sure it's good, but I don't think it's better. Which, from a competitive perspective, would almost always make me want to play the other one, but it's definitely a viable option. Definitely a viable option. Tenny. We're going to leave it with Tenny here. The new Tenny support I thought looked pretty cool when I read it for the first time. However, I have my doubts that it is, like, hugely impactful on the format. I think it's like in some ways they're giving the Tenny cards themselves more of their own identity, which I think is cool, because I do think that honestly, between, like, in, like, the worm deck, right, the Sword Soul, people are referring to it as Sword Soul. I think the Tenny cards are the more fun cards in that deck. I personally enjoy playing with Tenny cards a lot more than I play with than I like playing just Sword Soul. I think that whole, like, Vishuddha, Ashuna, like, that whole play style is pretty fun. So I'm happy that they're adding more Tennies to the mix. I still don't know if the deck is a standalone playable strategy yet. Probably not. I do think, like, Sword Soul Tenny and Pure Tenny and stuff like that, they're gonna be playable, but I don't see them being better than, like, you're still fighting an uphill battle. I do think you're fighting an uphill battle. Vishuddha does out Detonator. You're right. It's a very good out to Detonator. Even I mean, with Eclipse Twins attached, it becomes worse because you're gonna go, like, Vishuddha, activate effect, try to bounce the Detonator. They're gonna pop itself and bring it back, but still, you know, it's Vishuddha is a good card going second. So I do think the new Tenny support is good. So, like, it's good cards that doesn't catapult the deck into meta relevance, like tier 1 or anything like that, but you could mess around with it. You're gonna be fighting an uphill battle, but you can mess around with it. Rank Materia Reactor or I Riot. See, the thing is, essentially, most of the other archetypes, I looked at it on I think Card Cluster is what it's called. And I just, like, felt like it wasn't gonna be a good video if I ranked, like, they're listing, this is what they're listing in terms of gets new archetypes here. Like, look at how many decks theoretically get new support. I can't possibly talk about every single one of these in this video, so I just wanted to continue the conversation in the comments down below, I suppose. But I will say that for most of the things that now we haven't really mentioned, right? Like the gladiator beasts of this world or the materiactor of this world, I just don't feel like the new support gives them sufficient meta relevance. The Gladiator Beast support, for instance, I just think misses the mark. I do think Gladiator Beast is one of those decks that just is better. Like, you could make Gladiator Beast meta again, but you're never going to, with the way how modern Yu-Gi-Oh works, you're never going to replicate the feeling of playing a Gladiator Beast deck, because Gladiator Beast is so focused around like the battle phase. You're so focused around like trying to connect attacks and then returning them to the deck. That's how Gladiator Beast used to work. That is just a concept that in modern Yu-Gi-Oh wouldn't really work. So like they're just giving them custom cards to turn them into a different deck, which I personally am not a huge fan of. And it's not even doing a really good job at that. Like you're not going to be able to, I don't think it's going to compete with other combo decks at that. So I think Gladiator Beast as a concept is just like something that's better to be left in the past. You know, there's certain legacy decks that would potentially work in a new setting. And then there's some decks where their concept is just so outdated that it's probably better to leave it in the past. And I think Gladiator Beast is one of those decks. Mermaid Atlantean is still going to be a good deck, and I could have included it in this one. However, I don't think it changes much. I guess the same could be said for some of the other decks we've included here. Yeah, I do think Mermaid remains a viable option. But the new support doesn't like catapult it into like insane territory. But yeah, that's how I feel like about those. Once again, if we want to continue the conversation in the comments down below, I will try to answer about like if you want to know like, hey, what do you think of the new Flame Swordsman support or Max Metalmorph or whatever. I'm down to try and answer comments. I don't always get to answer every single comment because it's usually too many, but I'm happy to try at least. Yeah. Anyways, that is how I view the upcoming format with Supreme Darkness. Once again, I don't think Supreme Darkness is going to shake up the format in a crazy way. I do think Ryziel and Malice and Fiendsmith are still going to be the driving forces of this upcoming format. The new decks just kind of like slot right in there. There's nothing that completely takes over. However, there are viable things in this set. Decks that are going to be viable options, and with some testing and some cooking and some good performance can definitely surprise people. Like White Forest Azamina, Crystron, Mitsurugi, Primite engines, that sort of stuff like is definitely interesting. And I think saying that Supreme Darkness doesn't bring anything to the format is an underestimation. I think the set, especially in the long run, is going to turn out to be solid. Like because the White Forest stuff gets more support later down the line. The Primite stuff is going to be relevant at the very minimum when the Blue Eye stuff comes out, and who knows what's going to happen with stuff like Mitsurugi or Crystron in the future, right? So I think Supreme Darkness might actually end up being more of like a sleeper set. Like in the beginning, people are going to underestimate it, but in the long term, I think it's got some pretty good stuff in it. And that's how I feel about it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you've been watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Hope it is helpful to you guys preparing for your upcoming sneaks and all that kind of stuff, helping you to decide which kind of decks you want to pick up and look into. Without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. All right. I saw people starting to experiment evil heroes with Fiendsmith. What do you think? I mean, you gotta get a little bit more specific than that. What's the idea here? Because I am aware that evil hero Sinister Necrom exists, who is who can get you a light fiend with a dusted gold or whatever it's called. Like, I'm aware of that synergy. But what exactly is it that you're trying to do? I just realized it's actually Tier List Thursday. Yeah, but don't tell that to anyone. Do not tell that to anyone. They can't know that on YouTube. They cannot know that. Do you think Triff is coping on Mitsurugi or just yapping for content? I think Mitsurugi Fiendsmith, Mitsurugi Ryzeal is not going to be the better way to play the deck. I think it's solid from what I've seen, but I feel like you are basically the way I see it is that Ryzeal as a concept is a very strong deck that doesn't really need much improvement. Like I think between pure Ryzeal and Fiendsmith Ryzeal, you've got two very solid concepts that don't need much improvement. And I think the Mitsurugi Ryzeal deck, I think the truth about this matter is that you can look at it from two perspectives, right? If you're trying to play Ryzeal and you're trying to find the best way to play Ryzeal, I don't think that's Mitsurugi. However, if you're going at it from the other side and you're like, I want to play Mitsurugi, I want to make these Mitsurugi cards work, then Ryzeal Mitsurugi might very well be your best chance of doing that, right? So that's always it depends on the perspective, right? Like it could very well be that Ryzeal Mitsurugi is the best way to play Mitsurugi, but not the best way to play Ryzeal, right? That's how I feel. That is my prediction on that matter. Like, yeah. Ryzeal Mitsurugi is bricky as hell. I mean, of course it is, right? Of course it is, because it plays ritual monsters and like Mitsurugi cards that on their own, some of them do something, but some of them don't. And it's just like, that's not even a bad thing, right? I think that's kind of cool. I do think Mitsurugi is a cool concept. However, if you could just play a Ryzeal deck where every single card does something, which is Ryzeal Fiendsmith, pretty much, then, you know, why wouldn't you do that? At least there could be a reason to play Ryzeal Mitsurugi. It's not just worse Ryzeal. What is that? So what's the reason? Genuine question. Like, what do you think is the thing that Mitsurugi saw? Like, if you're looking at it from the I'm trying to find the best Ryzeal perspective, what's the reason for me to pick Mitsurugi? What does it offer me? Does it offer me, because like, do I need more ceiling when I'm playing Fiendsmith Ryzeal? Do I need more? Does it add consistency? Does it like, what does it add? Really, it gives you layered protection. You could argue though that Fiendsmith does that already, because Fiendsmith gives you the trap card in the graveyard, and it also gives you a stronger end board because you get Caesar or Desiree, and it also, with Eclipse Twins, you also get a layer under your detonator, right? Like that gives you also a layer. Why add a whole Mitsurugi engine to your deck to play better into breakers if you can just do the Eclipse Twin thing, which is also better into breakers, right? I would say the reason is to give the end board a higher ceiling without being vulnerable to like Ultimate Slayer. Fair enough. However, Fiendsmith does that too, right? Because if your opponent has one Ultimate Slayer, there's still gonna be more to your end board than just the Exceed monsters, right? You're still gonna have access to like the trap card. Mitsurugi way cheaper than Fiendsmith. Yeah, but those are valid reasons. I'm speaking from like a purely competitive perspective. If I'm trying to find the best deck, I don't see many reasons to pick Mitsurugi over Fiendsmith or pure Ryzeal. Higher ceiling for Fuvolos, that would be an advantage over the Fiendsmith version. That's a good point. You know, that's a good point. If you are like super sick and tired of starting your turn with Ice Ryzeal and then getting Fuvolos and then all your Fiendsmith cards are dead, fair enough. That's all right. You know, the problem is that Mitsurugi in some ways even plays into Fuvolos though, because don't they ritual summon from the deck? Depending on how you draw your card, like what kind of end of the like, if you draw the thing, yeah, you would summon at least once from the deck. Only one? Yeah, but if you're playing Ryzeal Mitsurugi because of Fuvolos, and then you start with Ice Ryzeal and get Fuvolos, you're still, in order to do like Detonator plus Mitsurugi or whatever, there's still 3 or 4 draws. I wouldn't call that good into Fuvolos. I wouldn't call that good. At that point, I'd rather just be playing pure Ryziel. And if I get Fuvolost on Ice Ryziel, I'm just making Detonator and pass with non-engine. They only play one Ice Ryziel? Okay, well, then that's not a, I don't think that's a great sign. I think the problem with Mitsurugi is that they also lose to Bystials. That's annoying, for sure, if that's the case, yeah. All right. Do you think the meta would destroy Sprite, or is Sprite good enough? I think Sprite is, if I'm using that categories that I just showed you, I think it would go into the uphill battle category. I think you can play Sprite if you really want to. I think you're going to struggle with it, but you can do okay. Especially something like, wow, what would the best one be, maybe? Life Twins? I'm not sure. Okay. Anyways, we've got an event to play today. Just a quick notice. There was a stream planned this week that I unfortunately had to cancel on Tuesday, where I let my Patreons pick a deck for my ladder session, and they picked dragons. So we're still going to do that. I'm just going to have to see where we can slot it in, because I do want to play the event. I do want to play the Theme Chronicle, but I also want to do that. We might do it today if we have enough time. Or we'll just do it on next week. Start of next week is where we would do it then. But yeah. Theme Chronicle is the one where they try to promote themes from their solo modes. Rai Q, thank you for the 2 months. The Kev 8, thank you for the 8 months. Quat you, thank you for the 13. Appreciate that. The Crystal Wing Synchro and Centurion. Which one is that? Let me take a look real quick. Supreme Darkness. Crystal Clear Wing. This one? 2 tuners. Level 12. Must be synchro summoned once per turn when another card or effect is activated. Negate the activation if you do destroy this card. If it was a monster, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. You can special clearing. I mean, that's just worse Blazar, I think. That feels like a worse Blazar. Not strictly worse, but usually worse. I mean, not strictly, but like, I think the fact that Blazar leaves the field is the most broken part about it, because that means after it's used its negate, you cannot really prevent it from coming back. Right? Like arguably the best part about Blazar is that it's so hard to out because it banishes itself. Yeah. Anonymous gifter with a gift sub to Max C. How long has Max C been subbed now? 9 months. Nice. And the Jamie Doge, thank you for the 8 months. Appreciate the prime. Thank you. All right. I am ready for suggestions on what we should play for the Theme Chronicle event, because I've looked into the loner decks and it's actually, there's crimes are happening. Look at this. This is what they make people play? This is criminal activity. This one looks fun though. We might try and get a win with this one. Let's try and win a game with pure Lightsworns. I'm down to try that. That looks very fun. It doesn't look particularly strong, but you are going first. Luna Lights. Hmm. Okay, we didn't mill much there, but we got 2 charges. Okay, we milled Vice, Dragonling, Raiden. So, oh, dude, there's Garroth in here. Can we do some Garroth shenanigans? Does this negate whatever? I'm gonna get Garroth. I want Garroth. Did they at least put the Ishizu Shufflers in here so I'm not gonna deck myself out? I'm afraid the answer is gonna be no. They are banned. Good. Great. Let's charge. The milled wolf, I'm the best. What am I supposed to do? How does this work again? Must be special summon from your extra deck by banishing the above monsters, 1 each from your field and grave. Once per turn, quick effect. Pay 2,000, banish all other cards on the field and in the graveyards. 1 per turn during your end phase and the top 4. Okay, so I'm going to try to end on this one. I already have 4 Lightsworns in my graveyard, conveniently, so I can just special Judgment Dragon. How do I get Judgment Dragon in the graveyard, though? Could make curious. Damned. Oh yeah, it doesn't work in my Master Duel overlay. My bad. I'll refund you. Soggy Sao, thank you for the community gift sub, and Kawaii Chuyin, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate you. Mr. Monkey, thank you for the 14. Where was I? Okay, I want to get Garroth out. Boom! I'm gonna deck out. I just deck out here. There's no way around it. My deck has 16 cards left. It's worth it. Bro, no, it's not. Man. I'll synchro off my Garroth. Wait, you can recycle with Punishment. Punishment Dragon makes you not deck out. Oh, I should have kept my Garroth around. Now I'm sad. I could have drawn so many cards. Oh. Alright, so we'll banish 4 different names. Mill 4. Oh, we got Electromagnetic Turtle. And this. Whee! Card destruction. So this shuffles all cards except Lightsworn monsters. But that includes my Judgment Dragon. Oh, whatever. Goodbye, Cyber Dragon. This end phase mills 4. Okay. How do we not deck out? Now we have 1 card left in the deck. We just win next turn. Yes. Not the heavy storm. No! It's over. Bro, this loner is just so criminally out of win conditions. It's actually insane. Why is there no rank 8? Why is there no good rank 4s to end on? Would they want me to do Steel Swarm Roach? You're going second with this loner? Well, it wasn't my choice, right? I lost the thing. They made me start. Apparently, everyone wants to go second. Redoer is there. How? Redoer is not a good endboard option if you can't really attach a trap to it. Okay. So many cards. Wait, so I do win with no cards in deck. Oh! No, wait, that's dead. They're at 6,000. I know. I'm just playing around with my cards. All right. Homie draw them? No cards in my deck. I can't homie draw them. What's the last loner? Well, I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that. Okay, so what do we play? Let me finish my food. Let's just do another, like, 1 or 2 games while I finish my food, and then I'll think about what we play. Something with 3 nibs. Nib isn't bad. Doom Domo, thank you for the kind words and the 7 months. Welcome back. I still haven't won a coin flip today. But that's nothing new. You guys know that. That's how we roll. That hand is obscene. Oh my god. Alright, I'm finishing my food in 1 turn. Someone's at the door. Okay, what's happening here? Monster effect. Easy clap. Well done, Charlie. Dragoonity? That's going to take a while. Why is Charlie's name Charlie? I don't know. We didn't change it. It was already his name when we adopted him. He's from the shelter. How long has this turn been? I finished my entire plate. Oh, now we're starting to do the Dragon Maid stuff. Okay. What endboard options do you even have in the event? Like, what is there? Is Savage legal? No. I guess we'll find out. Barcha. Okay, that just equips a whole bunch. House. What's the difference between this card and Phalanx? Isn't this card just strictly better Phalanx? They just replace my boy Dragoonity Phalanx? Or you have to go into... Oh, yeah, right. Okay, Seals. And a Monster Negate. And... What is that? Shoe? Ooh! Is Josh a Ronaldo fan? Not really. I'm not that much into football. I just like the meme. Ah. You. I mean, 3 spell traps. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. Am I supposed to search Fellis here to resolve Vice? But then what if they... No, I think I'm supposed to get Lumina. Will you react to the Switch 2 reveal today? I don't think I have much to add to that. Oh, it puts it to the... It's cost to put it to the top. Oh. Well, then I could have also done Wolf. Whatever. Wait, that's my... No, I lost. I lost. Okay, let's build our own deck. Let's build our own deck for this event. Create new. It's just... I like it a lot when he's here, but I can never really use my keyboard because he's always right in front of it. Yeah. What decks are like? Orcust is cool. What about what's the paleo situation? The paleo situation is a good situation. No rollback. The paleo situation is a terrible situation. The paleo situation is doomed. Okay, good talk. Lightsworn Orcust. We could play Lightsworn Orcust. I have Lightsworn cards and Orcust cards, I think. Orcust. Yeah. Naturia. Okay, the Naturia squad is all here. What about... Nah, that's crazy. Come on. Not all of them? All of... all of them. Even Runic Allure. Golden Droplet, huh? Golden Droplet's too powerful for your solo mode decks? Okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's cook something with Lightsworn. So we're gonna play Dragon Links. We're gonna play this. We're gonna play Vice. We're gonna play 3 Fellis and 3 Wolves because we're no cowards. We're gonna play Punishment Dragon. Minerva. Where's the other Minerva? There. Oh yeah, Raiden. Like 1 maybe 2. And then we'll play Orc. I wonder how many we would want. Probably not too many. Oops, definitely not that one. Nightmare. Mermaid. I mean, we might have room for the other ones. I'll also play 1 Lumina. I'll play 1 Lumina, 1 Raiden, just in case I want to discard a card out of my hand. Is IP legal? I doubt it. Oh, IP is legal, but SP isn't. But we can still play IP with Unicorn. Is Snow allowed? No, Snow is banned. Okay. Black Goat. Black Goat. Sure, why not? I'm not sure if I want to do 3. Rick Clown. Rick Clown. Zombie Vampire. That sounds good. No access code. Okay. What about Zeroboros? Also not legal. I mean the extra deck's fine. I'm more worried about the main deck. Bomber is legal. Logic. So if I go Bomber Dragon, what's my plan? How do I summon into its zone even? I guess with Babel setup. Maybe it's this over that. Okay, so we could play this. The problem with this is it's not a good normal. It's a good normal summon, but it's not a good mill. World Wand. Oh yeah, World Wand. Nibiru. Nibiru seems good. Let's just play. I mean, let's play some more Orcust cards because I don't think we have more good Lightsworn cards to add. So let's just play like a bigger package with Orchestrated Return, and that seems fine. We just need more ways to get a second body onto the field to get into like Nightmare. Maybe we'll play. Let's play Talons. Helps going second. Foolish. Foolish would theoretically work. Okay, let's hop in. Well, the hand's good. Good Lightsworn hand, yeah. Spectre, Snake93, and Uncle Ollie, thank you so much for the subs. Charlie appreciates you. Right? Right. Dragon Maid Send Off. Well, that's not gonna get Nibiru'd. Okay. I didn't expect to draw cards anyways. Don't worry about it. Alright, it's time I read your Dragon Maid Trap card. Bro just does not want to play with me. Wait. So they have a... I'll just send... If I send the monster, the spell is dead. The problem is if I send the back row and they have a big dragon maid in hand, they can bounce at the start of the thingy. Right? And I don't want them to have this back in hand, so I'll send the... Thing is bigger than any of the dragons. See, I didn't know that, but I also don't want them to have this in the hand as follow-up, right? I'd rather have it be in the graveyard. Quarter century Trinity box duel? Right, true, actually. Foxy Elemental, thank you for the 18 months. Welcome back. Thank you for the prime. Appreciate that. Normal summon Ash. Scoop. Are you the one playing or their cat? I don't know. Technically, you can't see who's moving the mouse, so... None of your business. Constellar? Those are words I haven't heard in a long time. Oh wait, it's Satellar Knight. Oh no, are you skipping my turn? There's no way they can do that here, right? Caduceus. Add a Constellar from your deck to your hand. Can you win a coin flip, please? We haven't won a single one yet, have we? Out of 5 or 6? Right, this looks like they are trying to make an end board. I'm hoping. Detach. Why are you doing that? Okay. Attach Stellar Knight. Okay, I milled Orcust Symbol Skeleton, and I got ashed. I heard you attempt at the regional in Luxembourg, is that true? No. I haven't played a regional in Luxembourg, and I don't have any plans anytime soon. Okay. I'll take this one then. Wait, that's fucked up. I have to give it back. I don't have a... And I'm drawing Fellis next turn. That's so messed up, man. That's messed up. That is messed up. Ooh, they're blinding second. Another coin flip loss, by the way. Okay, so I milled I milled Harp Horror and World Wand, which is pretty good. I'm gonna Solar the Dragon Link because I don't want to have a dead Solar in hand. How much plant have we faced so far? 0. Cat, please. Let him sleep. Let him sleep in peace. Ooh, hello, Phyllis. They let me start and they're playing Skull Servant Sleeves with 45 cards. I'm just now noticing that, but I feel like that's a tell. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little sussed out by that. Oh yeah, and they got the Skull Servant icon. All right. So you choose second and then you scoop and your opponent plays Lightsworn. I see. Was it Skull Servant or were you capping? It was Skull Servant Lightsworn based actually. Of 1 Nibiru, apparently not in hand. XCLCs, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. Oh, we've won a coin flip. That's crazy. I forgot how that felt. Hey, Josh, Ascent is legal. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for telling me that. That's definitely going to change my deck choice for this event drastically. What are the rewards for this? You get... Protector Terminal World. Hey Josh, Paleo is legal? Yes, however, there's no rollback, so I've been thoroughly disappointed. Wolf! Let's add Dragonling. Give me some draws. Nice. Pellet. Oh my god. That was Felis and Vice. That was draw 2, summon 2. Can they not scoop one game? I don't know. People, I think the unfortunate reality with these events sometimes is that people just play them to get their gems as fast as possible. So they're just trying to win, and if they don't, if they're not willing to wait. Because I promise you, this deck, I mean, if it goes completely uninterrupted, it probably makes a pretty sick board, but for the most part, they could be playing and trying. There's a challenge to win going second 4 times. And what's the reward for it? $200 gems? That's not bad. I mean, but like, do you have to pick second for it, or is it just like win going second? Because I mean, if you just have to win going second, then like you're gonna do that naturally by just playing the event, right? That you don't have to like try for that. You just play for a little bit. Yeah, just win, Lamau. I hope they don't make Abyss Dweller. However, the alternative is probably Baguska, and that's also not very good for me. But Abyss Dweller is way more, like, that's a bigger problem. Baguska is banned? Is Dweller banned? Dweller isn't. Interesting. Very interesting. Mm. Mm-hmm. Look, guys, I'm gonna mill my wolf. Ah. Love Abyss Dweller. Which 2 just got announced? What's new about it? Give me the rundown. We don't know. New price support? Yeah, Park Champion. We can finally get... Oh my god, my hand is not good. It has a 2 on it. Nice. Should I be making this token? I'm not super familiar with just Orcust lines. Because if I just summon here, I will have 2 bodies, right? I don't know if I need the token. I don't have Linkaribo in here, no. Maybe an oversight on my part. I'll just do it and see if I need it. Token turns off Imperm. I don't think they have Imperm, right? You would Imperm Girsu, but get this. It was more fun than an Omni Negate. I want to Activate symbol. Bring out gears. Turns out I did not need the token. And now, so they now have a free token, which is not ideal. Okay. I mean, the token helps. Because it gives me something to link off with IP immediately. The new Orcust support lets you search both Babel and Crescendo now. If you want to, yes. There is ways to do that now. Okay. Giving the Synchro deck a level 1 token kick W. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Coral Dragon, huh? Well, no. No, thank you. This. Goodbye, Coral Dragon. Ooh, Mangalol. What deck is this? Fish Synchro? Is this Goatee with Duskwalker? What do they mean by this? This is Goatee? Shift. Okay. So they're gonna get back 2 of those tuners, but I'm not sure how much they can do with that. I have a very small Orcust package in this deck, I'm now realizing. Lumina is not usable. The moment the Lightsworn cards look like imposters. I mean, yeah. Look, but if these were Charge of the Light Brigade, Solar Recharge, and Lightsworn Dragonling, you would not be talking that way. Zip. Play some Blackwing, Josh. That's funny. I'm sure Josh played more games of Mathmech in his life than Blackwing. No, that's not true. I played Blackwing sometimes back in the day. I hated it, but I've played it a little bit. Like in 2009-10 or something. I have some Blackwing games to my name. Don't tell anyone, though. Well, that wasn't so bad. Gera, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. We are currently struggling with the... Oh. Bro gets nipped. Oh, wait, no, I can't nip. I'm already locked. Am I locked into darks yet? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's funny. I'm gonna nib. I'm gonna nib. I don't know if this is this the first time I've nipped on my own turn? Probably not. Probably not. Chaining 1 nip, chaining 2. Oh, that would have been cool. But then I would have tributed my own Orcust. Wolf! Who's laughing at the Lightsworn cards now? Who's laughing now? Fair gig, I think with a 26. Alright, we'll not make it overly complicated. Lost contact, think about a 14. Getting your groove back for competitive events. I'm not sure what exactly you mean by that. Is it like you've played back in the day and now you're trying to get back in? For that, I'd say just find a deck that you're comfortable with, that you like in the current format, and just play as much as you can with it. And in that process, you're gonna get used to playing events again and learning other decks and like how to play against them and stuff. I think one of the most important factors about like getting back into this game and enjoying it and stuff like that is just finding a deck that you vibe with. Mayrich, thank you for 15 months. Appreciate that. More frames for Master Duel on Nintendo. Okay, so from your guys' first perspective, is the new Switch going to be worth it? Is it going to be something? As someone who I really liked the first Switch, I really like the Nintendo Switch as a console. Oh, I mean, not liked. I do still like it. Not so much as a as a YCS price, but in general, I like the console a lot. I guess you won't have a choice anyways if you want to get the new games. Oh, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Are they just going to do the thing where you can still play the Switch games on Switch 2, but you can't play Switch 2 games on Switch? Oh, that makes sense, right? What the hell is happening? Where did bro come from? Hello? Will you buy it or get it from YCS? I mean, if I want it, I might. It depends when I want it. Because my current Switch, I also haven't won at YCS. It's actually it's funny because I used to not want a Switch. So I did win a couple Switches and just sell them. But then when I wanted the Switch, I don't remember why I wanted one. I think it was when one of the Pokemon games came out. I think Sword and Shield is when I wanted a Switch. And then I just didn't have one, so I ended up having to buy one for probably more than what I got for the ones I sold. Couldn't wait to win another one. I mean, look, if a Pokemon game comes out and I really want to play it, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the next YCS. Surely I'll make top 8. That is not how I approached that situation. Also, I just gave Charlie some treats. I don't know if you heard him munch on them. Show cat Madge. Jeez. I have my reasonable doubts right now. Okay, dude. That I can break this board. If I'm honest with you. I didn't really pay attention. But Wonder Heart. What is that card? When did that come out? I've never seen that. Does the Dweller help? The Dweller does not help. Also, a quick reminder while we're watching this beautiful Abyss Dweller goatee combo that I'm going to be live on Sunday with a Challenger Cup. And if anyone still wants to play, there's about 50 slots left in the Challenger Cup. Oh, great. That helps so much. The World Wand, yeah. So if anyone wants to play in a free Master Duel tournament to win some awesome prizes, you can join the Challenger Cups, which are returning. Is it EU only? Yes, this one is EU only. Not my decision, but it is what it is. I'll link you the Discord server for the Challenger Cup. I think we have a command for it, !Challenger Cup. I'm still gonna look for the link real quick. But you can also just try !Challenger Cup. I think we have it. Yeah, we do. Okay, there you go. It works. And now I'm just gonna probably activate Charge and Scoop. Can I not get Dwellered so much? That'd be very cool. How many wolf did you mill? 1. There was 1 wolf and the Lightsworn Dragonling, so 2 hits out of 3 when Dweller is up. Do you think they will ban Dweller as in the OCG? Hard to say. It's possible. I don't count on it. My gut feeling is no, but they should. Agreed. You think the next list will hit heavy bestial? I personally, I think I'm of the opinion that Magnemute should be banned at this point in time. Specifically with the concept of context of Tenpai, I felt like whenever Magnemute was activated on me, it felt horrible, especially when my opponent went second. I mean, I don't know. It's hard because I do like Magnemute. I enjoy the card when I have it myself. But I don't know. Is this where you do it? I mean, now they know I have it anyways. I'll just do it. I'm not going to read all those battling boxers, dude. Okay, seems like it was a good moment. I milled Babel and Crescendo. This hand is now awkward. I'll try and mill a Harpor or something. You can ash that? Oh yeah, because it mills 3, of course. We have Fiendsmith at home. This summons from Banished, right? Banished Orcust monster. Should probably. I think I have to send the token with my Dingirsu, but I can't do that. Could Nightmare Mermaid come back given the ban of Ibli in the TCG? If they would do that, yes. Master Duel has convinced me that Nightmare Mermaid is okay. Will you try Goatee? I mean, I've played Goatee before. I'm actually a fan of the Goatee archetype. I think it's very fun. I just don't feel like it's viable without Runic. Like for this event in particular, I'm not... Goatee is one of those decks where I wish it was slightly better. Nice. Nice. Wait, what does that trigger? This isn't... I read this. Oh, send to the grave by the card effects. Oh no. I misread it. I said... I thought it said if this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a card effect. Oh. So now they're going to special summon a Battling Boxer from the graveyard. Have you seen the new Earth's Arctic Field? I have seen it. Only in the overview in the menu. I haven't actually, but it looked kind of cool. We can take a look at it in a second. Yeah. Do you see yourself ever playing Naturia again if 3 comes back to 3? Yeah, why not? All right, those were some nice gems. What's the field you were saying? Accessories. That is pretty cool. That does look pretty sick. The kind of futuristic style to it. I like it. That's neat. Might pick that one up eventually. I might pick that one up. I think, I don't know if you've been noticing, but I feel like I'm on a little lower energy today because I feel like I'm starting to get sick and I'm starting to feel my voice get lost. or I'm starting to lose my voice. So I think I'm gonna call it a day a little early today. But we can still open. Let's try to pull a runic fountain while I still have the pack. I should still have the pack. I do. But at the moment, I'm just feeling like I want to do what Charlie's doing right now, which is this. But let's open 10 packs and then call it a day. That's not the card I was expecting here, but okay. I crafted this yesterday for the draft. All right, well, not the worst. 3 ultras, 1 of them glossy. That's a good amount of crafting points. All right, y'all. I'm sorry we didn't finish the event and that we didn't get to actually do some ranked grinding today. I did want to do that, but I'm gonna take it easy because I'm also gonna be on Farfur's stream tomorrow for the podcast. And I'm also going to be live on Sunday for the Challenger Cup. So if you want to go sign up for the Challenger Cup, tune into Farfa's stream tomorrow for the podcast and tune into Sunday's stream. Other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, a great start into your weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye. Peace.